Hello everyone and welcome back to the Purveyor in Fallout 76. Today we're going to burn through 1,000 scrip on 3-star legendary ranged weapons, do a little bit of commentary on each one, and see if we can come up with anything interesting for some weapon spotlight videos in the future. Remember, if you like videos like this and you want to see more Fallout 76 content, don't forget to go ahead and subscribe, hit the like button, and leave a comment. Other than that, I think we know what's going to happen from here, so let's just jump into it and see what Mama Mumbles has for us today. Alright, and our first roll is gonna be... Okay, that's not bad. Troubleshooters handmade with exploding bullets and 250 damage resistance while reloading. So, handmades are good. Handmades are highly desirable. Explosive is a highly desirable effect. It's very, very effective. 250 DR while reloading. It's not the most magical thing in the world because I think most of us probably have decent damage resistance already, so the kind of diminishing returns you get with that, it may not amount to much, but it doesn't hurt with a weapon that you have to reload often. And the weakest part of it is Troubleshooters, which is a very situational effect, but if you run a lot of nuke silos, you run a lot of daily ops that are loaded with dangerous robots, any number of other things, if you like to run encrypted a lot, then a Troubleshooter's weapon can be really effective, and this is a good one. That's really what it comes down to with situational effects, so that's a winner. What do we have now? Not so much of a winner. Here we've got a Vampire's Black Powder Rifle with 33% VATS hit chance and +1 agility. So I like the VATS hit chance on a weapon like this. Agility, never hurt anybody to have a little bit extra agility, but probably not a huge factor with this weapon. Vampires, while I'm a fan of it, is not hugely effective on a slow-firing weapon like this one. So while it's not a bad thing to have, it's really not doing a whole lot for you either. The most effective thing you're getting out of this is the increased VATS hit chance, so you can target weak points from a distance and have a good chance to hit. But other than that, this one's not amazing. Let's see what's next. Alright, and now we have a Mutants cryolator with a VATS hit chance and 50 damage resistance while aiming. So, cryolator, very specialty weapon. Certain people are going to want a cryolator. Certain people, most people, are going to want nothing to do with a cryolator. But where it comes in handy: Scorch Beast Queen fights to freeze her and keep her on the ground. Encrypted to freeze the imposter sheep squatch and keep it still where it can't hurt anybody. Quite frankly, any cryolator will do in those situations. So something like this one, you get a little extra damage resistance while you're aiming down sights. That's not a bad thing. Increased VATS accuracy, not a bad thing. A little more damage if you're mutated, not a bad thing. Again, any cryolator will do the job, so this one will do the job maybe a little more effectively. I think your ideal cryolator is probably a quad, but beyond that, you can't really go wrong with any cryolator, so someone will find a home for that one. And next up, we've got a Mutants plasma pistol with bashing damage and extra agility. So the plasma pistol is a bit versatile in that you can make it a rifle, and you can even make it an automatic rifle, so you've got some extra versatility there. You can also, of course, make your pistol an automatic pistol, so that's a good thing. Unfortunately, you can't suppress it, so you can't take advantage of your sneak multipliers. Bashing damage is something that just sucks. Not a fan of it. They need to change it. I'll say it in every video until they finally do. Change bashing damage from damage increase to bashing speed. That will make it useful in daily ops with cloaked enemies. That's really the only thing it's good for, because bashing damage is incredibly weak in Fallout 76, so increasing nothing by 40% still leaves you with nothing. Extra agility is fine. That'll help your VATS, it'll help you with your stealth a little bit, but you're not going to be real stealthy with this weapon anyway. As far as the Mutants effect goes, it's fine. It's a net positive effect. It's a net 10% increase if you're mutated. So not a bad thing, not an amazing thing. This one, for the right person, they might use it, but probably this one's going to go back to the script. Let's see what we've got. Alright, come on, Mama Mumbles, give us something good. Ugh, a medic's pipe pistol with VATS critical shots doing more damage and extra perception. So, if you want a medic's weapon, then this is a decent combo, because the whole idea here is your VATS critical shots heal you and your group. So if those VATS critical shots are doing an extra 50% damage, that's a good combination. That synergizes well together. It gives you a benefit for damage as well as a benefit for healing. Extra perception, that's good because you're going to be using this in VATS, so that's going to help your VATS accuracy. Unfortunately, it's a pipe pistol, so you're not going to do great damage with it. But if you're playing that support role, that may not be that much of a drawback, because this means you're going to land more shots and do more healing because you're going to land more VATS criticals. So there is something to be said for, if you're going to do this and you're going to take that group healing role seriously, then a low damage weapon that you can put out a lot of fire from might be a really good choice to do it with. So maybe I jumped to conclusions there. It might not be so bad. Now we've got a Troubleshooter's short Gatling gun with 10% damage while aiming and 15% faster reload. So here again, we have probably the best of the situational effects being Troubleshooters. You've got two endgame events where you can take advantage of that. You've got daily ops where you can take advantage of that. And you've got the missile silos, which you'll use for any nuke launching that you do where a weapon with Troubleshooters is going to be effective. So you can predict it. You know you're going to do it. With the upcoming increase in stash space that we're going to be getting, it's going to be much easier to keep around situational weapons. So Troubleshooters, I think, is going to get a little more desirable than it once was. The 10% damage while aiming and 15% faster reload effects are certainly good too. Nothing wrong with that. Let's move along. And now we've got an anti-armor Western revolver with limb damage and 250 DR while reloading. So anti-armor is a good effect to have. Because it's not a damage increase, it didn't suffer with the big nerf a few months back, where all your multiplicative damage was changed. People often say that it's still multiplicative. That's not technically accurate. It just reduces your target's armor, but it remained static. It remained just as good as it was. So it's kind of risen in the ranks of desirability a little bit. Limb damage. I don't love limb damage because the goal with a weapon like this is to take things down in 1 or 2 shots. So limb damage isn't super useful, but it doesn't hurt. 250 damage resistance while reloading is also not a bad thing here. You do reload this very often, and it's not the quickest reload in the game, so having a little extra protection when you do that is a good thing. It's still a revolver, you can't suppress it, you can't take advantage of some things, but it's not bad. And now we've got a Zealot's pump-action shotgun with limb damage and 50 damage resistance while aiming. So this one is a situational effect, and it's not the most amazing situational effect. Right now, where we've got the, where we're coming close to the end of the Holiday Scorched event, you know, for events like that, a weapon like this can be useful. If you're, let's say I'm not built for shotguns and I want to take this around and use it to kill some Scorched, I can probably do that pretty effectively and conserve other ammo that I might have. But that's really the extent of this where it's going to be useful. Limb damage, not a bad thing to have. If you are not built for shotguns, then you're probably not running Enforcer, so you might like that. If you are built for shotguns, you are though, and that's doing really nothing for you. Damage resistance while aiming doesn't hurt, but this is more of a hipfire or VATS type weapon, so I don't think you're going to get a whole lot out of that. So if you like to hunt Scorched a lot, then it could be useful. Beyond that, not so much. And now we've got an Instigating 10mm submachine gun with VATS hit chance and extra agility. So here, I like the increased VATS hit chance. This weapon it's a low range weapon. Even if you put a longer barrel on it, it still doesn't have the range that most rifles have. It's a submachine gun, so it's designed to be used more in somewhat close quarters. So that increased VATS hit chance is very helpful on a weapon like this, because you can target weak points and still have a good chance to hit, even if you've got a little bit of distance between you and the target. The instigating effect, unfortunately, is just terrible now. It can still be decent on really high base damage weapons, but this isn't one of those weapons, so it's not going to be very good. Unfortunately, the multiplicative effects being taken away from it really just crushed it, and it just doesn't do much. I've used it on a bunch of weapons now and barely even notice it, so they need to give that some attention. But our last roll here is an anti-armor gamma gun with faster fire rate and 25% less VATS AP cost. So this one's kind of interesting, but not amazing. The anti-armor effect, certainly useful, certainly a good thing to have, but on a gamma gun, that's kind of my reaction there. 25% faster fire rate. It's a great effect. I love to increase the DPS like that. Unfortunately, this thing doesn't hold a lot of ammo, so you pull the trigger once on this thing and you're reloading it. That's not very efficient, but it can still be fun to use. Less VATS AP cost helps. That means you're going to be able to use it in VATS and target weak spots in VATS very efficiently, and maybe get some more VATS criticals out of the deal. But overall, I just don't think it's a amazing roll. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to bring today's visit to the Purveyor to a close. We had a nice opening there with that Troubleshooter's explosive handmade. A couple other things that were maybe not terrible or interesting in very niche kind of circumstances, but not our best visit, though certainly an improvement over the mystery pick. We'll take that every time we can get it. As always, if you found this useful, if you found it enjoyable, go ahead and subscribe, hit the like button, leave a comment. Other than that, it's time to call it a day. I hope I see you next time. Till then, I'm Fisty McRib.